everybody, and welcome. Give it a few moments. Happy Monday. I'm excited to be here with you all. Let me see if I can send. We are going to have the People's Healer coming in. So, let me see how. Hi, Snow. Let me see. I'm trying to, okay, that's definitely not it. I can send the invite. There we go. So, probably going to have to, I really want to put it this way. Hey.
How you doing?
Oh, there we go. Is my music too loud?
Uh, I can hear you. How you doing? How you doing?
Gonna give it a moment so that people can come in, and I want to see my volume. So I'm using my phone. Hey, Snow. There it goes. Snow, can you hear either one of us okay? Is my music too loud, or can you hear him well? I am gonna. I am bullied, empowered, and divinely guided. How are you? Yeah, you can hear us just
All right, there.
right. Cool. I ended up last minute grabbing my Ganesha deck. So I was like, oh, I know I wasn't going to do that today, but I guess I'll pull a card and see what comes out of it.
Okay.
So I just shuffled this. Let's give it about another minute or so. I definitely should have brought me some water. I'm not getting up.
Oh, yeah?
I have to fix this here so that it is not constantly falling.
Whew. So how you be? How was your week? How was your week?
I'm excited. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. I should probably put it up, right? So that way we're like recorded on the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Oh, darn it. You know, I be having my.
Today though, Monday. Today was like Today was a dry one to me. You know what I mean? This Monday right here was really a quote unquote Monday. You know what I'm saying?
A good Monday.
No, it was a Monday. Today was a Monday. Like, you know, it was like a Monday for me. I was
Oh,
not
a real
going to
Monday.
work. Yeah, it was. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad to be on this live and talk. You know, that amps everything up. You know what I mean? So.
Feel the vibes. I hear you. It's so lit. It's going
Yeah.
in and out. At least on my end, but I do hear you well. At
It's
the
going
same
in and
time,
out?
it's just kind of paused. I'm glad that yeah, I think it froze right now because it was like pixelated.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why mine is like perfect. I can hear
That's
you
them
perfect on mine.
spirits, y'all.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
more
mine going
time.
perfect.
All right, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna get started.
Mm-hmm.
People are coming in, but in the meantime, please allow yourself to introduce yourself. Who is the People's
Mm-hmm.
Healer? Who is this divine masculine being? Hopefully you can hear me well.
Yeah, I can hear you good. Peace. What's going on, y'all? I'm the People's Healer. You know, I've been on this when I first got into like the scene, it was more so of astrology. What I really started to get noticed for was astrology, spoken word, and poetry, and things like that. But over like what I did was I started doing poetry because I wanted to do spoken word and started lecturing, which I'm about to do soon. But I knew that poetry was an easy way to get my foot in the door, if you will, like far as events and things like that. So what I would do was I would start doing poetry and ended off with like a long spoken word, right? And when I started doing that and I incorporated astrology with it too, you know, of course I started doing readings. So that's what I do is birth chart readings. And when I get my website up 100%, it's called the esoterichealing.com. I'll be doing esoteric healing sessions soon. But for right now, I just do birth charts only. So if you want a birth chart, astrology birth chart, then let me know and I got you. But soon, like I said, I will be doing the esoteric healing sessions, which consists of pretty much everything dealing with spirituality. I do tarot card readings as well, so that'll be included in there. Um, so, but what got started me on my spiritual journey? Let me see. 2015, well, 2012. Let's say 2012. I was overseas and I started reading a lot. So with me reading a lot, gaining a lot of knowledge, this really kind of changed me, if you will, because I believe knowledge is supposed to change you. So with me learning all this stuff, I read over like 100 some books when I was overseas, and it literally changed my thinking process, my perception on life, and everything. And I turned more towards the spiritual side of life, and it really didn't enhance until maybe 3 years after that, which is 2015, when I was going through a rough time, and I had nothing to turn to but, I guess you could say, spirituality. And ever since then, it's just been me connecting with my divine self and me working on the inner me and transforming myself. And what I came down here to do is spread the knowledge to others, spread that light to other people. So here I am here today.
It's interesting how you mentioned 2012 and then the 2015. And as you were sharing that, like me tracing back in time traveling with myself, right? What was that?
Hmm.
What was happening on there? And reflection came out as well. And I really do believe that a lot of us in our generation around 2012, some before, but mostly
Hmm.
2012 was it. Like, people say 2020 is like 2012,
Oh
it's
yeah,
the
exactly. Yep.
reset and entering the age of Aquarius and everything.
Hmm.
Hello, everybody that just came in. Welcome. And so, thank you for sharing that. I did hear most of it. What I didn't get to hear, I know you said overseas. Where overseas were you?
Oh, I was in Europe. I was in Europe, Kosovo, on a
You're
deployment. Actually, I was actually on a deployment in Europe, Kosovo, when I was overseas.
okay.
Hmm.
And so, ooh, did you come back to the States at 2015? And
No, no,
that's
I
when you
came back.
found your rough patch?
No, I went over there in 2012. I came back in 2013 the following the next year. I came back the next year,
Oh,
2013. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. And you are in the East Coast.
yeah. I'm right now. I'm actually in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, where are you? Where are you located?
I'm currently in Florida.
Mm.
Currently in Florida.
Oh, okay, so you on the east side too?
You lucky you asked me that on live because I probably wouldn't have mentioned it before.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm right up here in Charlotte.
Nice. I'm definitely overdue for a little road trip.
Hmm.
So before we get into all of that, I found it interesting, especially considering where I'm at
Hmm.
today specifically, as you mentioned, like the Monday, right? I was in such and the cards that came out, like I know they talking to me straight up,
Yeah.
and I was like, I wasn't gonna do this, but I know why. Like I'm a person like when I put my schedule out, I like to try if unless I like just really energetically am not up to like I cannot do it and I have to
Hmm.
reschedule, then that's how I am.
Hmm.
And so At the same time, when I'm in certain phases of myself, I don't necessarily like to do work either. But if I like
Mhm.
put a promise out there, put my word out there, I'm like, okay, so that was kind of like one of my days today where I was like, didn't want to do anything, but
Mhm.
I had these previous, on my schedule,
Mhm.
previous commitments. So I was like, okay, well, I got to do it. So the first card that came up, and it was card determination with the root chakra, the
Mhm.
Muladhara
Okay.
chakra, right, with
Mhm.
determination and the number 21. And for those of you
Mhm.
that are familiar, this is with the Whispers of Ganesha's deck, by the way, for those of you that are curious. 21 is Lord Ganesha's number, along with 12 and
Mhm.
3. And I always like to say, that the 21's the visions, they're all messengers. They're all messengers. They're the gatekeepers. Those are the keys. And, we're going to be talking about masculine, feminine energies and the determination that we both put the effort to be here right now for all of
Mhm.
y'all because, I was
Yeah,
nervous
that
this
that's the
time we're going to
perfect
be
card right there. That's
moving in a
perfect.
whole other direction. This was like, all
Yeah.
right, be grounded, be determined,
Yeah.
like, put your roots down, put your foot down, and do what you got to do, the hard work for
Mhm.
foundation and stability because of what we are. If I truly feel like this is actually divinely guided for something bigger than what we're actually paying attention to
Mhm.
right
Facts.
now, and that
Yeah.
will be extremely fruitful. And so I say that all to say that you know, he had his day, I had my day, and
Yeah.
we both put our effort to be here. So there may be things that's going on in your personal life
Mhm.
that, you might just really be having a little bit of a hard time and,
Mhm.
trying to put one foot forward and
Mhm.
saying, I can overcome all my obstacles. Let me keep
Mhm.
going. I have everything in me to overcome all obstacles, excuse
Mhm.
me. And when you really look at the determination and the steps it takes to do that,
Mhm.
that's taking deep reflection. That's going into the next card. We got the number 4 here.
Mhm.
Again, 4. Looking at the 4 directions, looking at the elements that you are
Four
putting
elements. Yeah.
inside of yourself, taking your breath, connecting with that fire, that drive, connecting with the waters to move the currencies to flow in the way that you need it for your abundance, for your prosperity, so that you can think clearly, so that you
Mhm.
can feel what it is that your higher self is truly telling you and down in your roots to bring down
Mhm.
into this physical realm. What is
Mhm.
it that these lessons are telling you? What are you tired about? Because I feel like a lot of us are maybe feeling tired. It's going through like ascension symptoms. And, right now there's things that's coming up in the roots that's
Mhm.
bringing about certain fears or trying to bring even like, do you really want this? Do you
Mhm.
really want it? Reflect on your why. Reflection. I had a call come in. Reflect on your
Okay.
why. Okay. Why are you getting up from your bed to do what it is that you are doing every day, right?
Mhm.
And it's so simple, these messages. I like how they're so simple because what we're talking about is a
Mhm.
very simple concept, but it's so complex, but it's so important. It is
Mhm.
so important for us in this realm and dimension and all realms and dimensions because as above, so below, as within, so without. And if you are not breathing correctly, you cannot flow correctly. You need a
Mhm.
certain balance, and when you have that
Facts.
flow of that, the current, the proper amounts of oxygen in your H2O, you're able to move with that, the proper elements of not burning out and evaporating when that fire comes in for you to do what it is that you have to do, so you
Mhm.
don't burn out, so you don't
Yes.
evaporate. but also so that
Facts.
you don't overwhelm and suffocate the fire in you and blow out in that way as well. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know how to balance it out correctly so that the air can still flow properly, because if not, that fire is going to take the air out of the water, is going to take the air out of the fire, and
Mm-hmm.
that water and fire is going to be out of balance.
It's funny you said that though
So
about the
what
balance,
a lot of it is
because
surrender is the
it,
last card. It's surrender with the number
it's funny.
2. So I like how it kind of broke that down, right? With the
Mm-hmm.
I have incense on. Oh, your keys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's funny when you were talking about the balance, and I was thinking about what we're talking about tonight, which is masculine and feminine energy. It's all about having that balance within, though. Like, so that made a lot of sense when you said that. So it's all about that balance, right? That's all I wanted to add.
yeah, no, that was just like, with the surrender was the last card, and it's 2, and it's
Mm.
like, okay, 2's that feminine energy, 2 in the numbers, right? And that surrender's a very feminine quality, and so you have something to say, so I'm gonna surrender, right? That's to
Mm-hmm.
allow the message to flow
Yeah.
as well, because I'm just flowing right now, but your masculine side might have something that I might need in a very
Mm.
logical way, or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that out there that sometimes we don't know why things are happening, but surrendering to the process will bring us the answers that it is that we need. When you surrender to your why, and you let your why be bigger
Mm.
than you, but you let God be the biggest and loudest voice in the room to
Mm-hmm.
be,
Mm-hmm.
your whys get answered.
Yes.
The strength and the passion, it allows for you to keep being driven and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of that, I'm just gonna say, that was intuitively, I was not even gonna do that, and I just kind of like literally last minute was like, grab the cards, and I was like,
Yeah.
why? That's
Yeah.
why. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. And we're both diviners. We're both here to step our ego to the side and
Mm-hmm.
be the divine messengers that we need to be for y'all. And if Spirit's
Facts.
saying, you know what, this is about your determination, this is about surrendering and allowing everyone to receive, including us, because Spirit got a funny way of talking to everyone in the
Mm-hmm.
room. So I don't know, that just brought me to a space of like, woo, like I feel so much in your space, and I'm just so like, so what's going on with you? What is your why? And like, what are you feeling right now? And just receiving that, and how does that connect with anything that you want to say in regards to
um.
balancing masculine, feminine energies, and then we'll go from there, because masculine energy is very
Mm-hmm.
leading and straightforward and protective. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
allow you to put
I
that
like
out there.
um the one that hit me the most or resonated with me the most was probably the last one. And the first one about determination, because I had to be very, very determined to, like I said, get on this live, because I was gonna try to push it to 8. But I was like, man, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do it now. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take care of some stuff and hurry up and get myself together to get on this live, right? And I knew, and then it's funny what you said, like when you first get into something, the spirit will just show you while you getting ready to do it, even though you didn't want to do it or you really didn't feel like doing it, or something came up, you'll figure out why. And I figured out why. As soon as I think it was around like 6:55. I'm like, okay, I get it now. Because I was like, okay, I get it now. Because as soon as I was about to get ready to prepare, it was like I needed this. I knew I needed it, right? I knew I needed to speak some spiritual stuff, some spiritual truths, things like that. This is what gets me going every day. One day is the reason why I'm here, to shed light and spread light and share information to people. You know what I'm saying? So it just pushed my determination, which come from the root, like from the reason why I'm doing this in the first place, right? So, um, so that right there really, really stuck with me. And the surrender. When I hear the word surrender, and when I think of surrender, to me, it's more so of like releasing, being able to put away everything I know now, and everything I feel now, and release it all, and let it all go, so more stuff can incorporate. You know what I mean? So more things that I can download. And I knew I needed this live. I knew I needed it. So I'm like, okay, I'm here. And it was just so perfect with what you said just now. It was crazy. So I appreciate that.
I love
And
it.
also,
I
and
love it.
also this is and also this is also metaphysical as well, because you being a feminine energy, and you being a feminine energy, and the feminine energy is about that, more so of the feels and all that type of stuff, like the kind of like more so the feelings and stuff like that. Me being a masculine, it's like I received all that from you, and it uplifted me. So I'm nothing without the feminine energy. You get what I'm saying? I'm nothing without the feminine energy.
it's very interesting, right? How you mentioned that in your life and my life, and like how society
Mm-hmm.
now has like been like, oh, this is a man's world, and yeah, we call it Mother Earth or Mother
Facts.
Gaia.
Facts.
But like if you look back in ancient Kemet texts, we had
Mm-hmm.
Geb, that was a masculine energy as
Mm-hmm.
the earth as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so different timelines possess different elements
Mm-hmm.
or um, masculine of different sides of the elements of masculine and feminine, and both all elements have both, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
spirit in itself is androgynous, right?
Facts,
We're
facts.
androgynous
Androgynous
beings,
beings, yes.
and when we're out of whack with one another and we're not tapping into what is more the flow, like feminine energy tends to be like, just dark and cold to neutralize,
Mm-hmm.
right? It brings the nothingness into everything,
It's just
right? It's
something, yeah.
all colors. It's voided of all colors, but it composes of all colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then the masculine energy is the reflection of all those
Facts.
colors, and it's the light, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very active. It's the pattern, right? And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that when you look at, like, in the beginning there was the word, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that word brought in the color, it brought in the frequency, it brought in the vibration. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was actually nothing, right? There was nothing.
Facts.
There was blackness, there was nothing. It was the
No things.
void.
No
It
shape
was
and
the
form.
absence of all, but that absence of all composed of everything of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, let there be light. And so there was
Mm-hmm.
light, and so it is. And
And
so
I like that point right there.
just
I don't want to
as
cut you off. I don't want to cut you off. I like that point right there. What she basically explains how dark is how the alchemy is, from dark to light. Like how you don't get light from dark, how you get dark from light, right? So I like the way you put that. I always have to explain that to people. Like, yo, you really have to. The true light comes from the dark, comes from within, basically. You know. So I like the way you said that right there.
that's why it's important for us to, like I said, the breathing and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just in that right there, right? The darkness bringing in that light, it takes double the amount of energy to create matter. But
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be that pattern there. There needs to be that light there. There needs to be
Yes.
light in order for it to come down into the
Mm-hmm.
physical. And so when you say, like, oh, having that feminine energy in the room, it's just as important having the masculine energy in the room. This is why we need that balance, and it starts within us, like you said, like it goes within us.
Mm-hmm.
So how about you take us, since the root chakra was the first one that came, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about you take us down a little journey towards the root chakra, the masculine and feminine energies, and see where that kind of takes us.
Mm, okay. Um. All right. I can talk about a time for transformation as far as the root chakra. Um. I think when it comes to, yeah, it's about first digging in, and when you ask yourself these questions, like before I go into meditation, I always ask myself a question, right? And the reason why I'm doing that is because that really sets the stage for my spiritual journey, or my spiritual endeavors, what I'm about to be doing, right? But in order to get the best ones, in order to get the best self realizations and revelations, is going to the root or going to the deepest matter of the issue that you feel like you're facing. You can't do that if you don't go to the root of any problem. So in order to solve any problem, you have to go to the root of it, and that's when when we're talking about the root chakra, that's what I really think about is going to the root of any issue, like a deep issue that you know you need to get out within, is going to the root of that. And when you do that, it's at first it's a little, I don't want to say scary, but I want to say at first it's a little, um it can be a little tough. How about that? It's going to be tough at first because these are the things that you don't address, but you got to address it in order to get that light. Like we're talking about, you have to go to your dark within to get that light, right? And that's what I'm thinking about when I think about the root chakra. So going within would be the feminine aspect, and what you get out of it is more so the masculine. So for me, it was just about like going to those tough places within myself and actually facing that, and so I can build myself back up the chakra ladder, if you will, starting from the root. So that could be a little story right there about how I deal with the root chakra.
Would you say that it is your determination in facing the
Mm,
fears, that that's like your masculine side,
mhm.
and that everything else that is existing that you're facing is part of the feminine energy? Or where do you see the masculine and feminine energy in that? Because I know they were talking about empaths and stuff. We're going to get into all of that, and kind of
Mhm.
like how, where's the masculine and feminine in that? If you had to explain to people how to connect to their masculine side and their feminine side in order to deal with self, how
Oh,
would you
okay.
kind of
Oh,
break
cool.
down the two for
Okay. Far as the feminine side is feeling. The feminine side to me, I'm not gonna say it's more important, but this is the first thing you got to do when dealing with this. You have to feel. You got to know how you feel. I think to me that's dealing with the feminine aspect. You being able to know what it is you feel inside, and not being able to and not be too logical and rational about it, and just feeling it for what it is, instead of saying, oh, I don't want to feel like this, or this doesn't make sense to feel that way. No, you got to feel that feeling so you can know how to control that feeling that you get, that deep rooted feeling. Talking about the root chakra again, you got to be determined and motivated to actually do that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you have to feel that feeling first, and once you do that, what it is that you have to do to transform that feeling will be more so of the masculine energy, but the feminine energy again comes first. You feeling it, and then you figuring out what it is you got to do to transform that feeling to a more higher feeling. So that's why I see where the feminine and the masculine comes into play there for me. And I actually want to know your answer to that though, because that's a good question.
I was thinking like total. I wasn't gonna originally say that, but feeling
Oh,
great because that's what I've been. I'm in my flow, and I was just instantly thinking like, oh, that's definitely like still mother energy, but without that
mm,
masculine consciousness to going deep down into the root, it will be out of control.
mm, mm.
Like, Kylie's sitting there slaughtering. I'ma cut it. I'ma do what I want as I
Yeah,
will. It so it be. Ha
yeah.
ha ha. And what? But
Hmm.
for a sense of like it's not to completely take it like she's being malicious or that your feminine energies of is being malicious. It's just enjoying the experience
Hmm.
of experience, enjoying the experience of feeling, and
Hmm.
enjoying the experience of honoring oneself. And
Hmm.
anything that is trying to cause an issue of saying, no, you can't do that, or you can't do that, to take away like free will,
Hmm.
that root chakra feminine aspect is like, I do what I want when I want to do it. But the light consciousness aspect of the masculine coming in to say, all right, we gotta kind of like put some direction into this
Yeah, elevate
to
this
get
up.
you.
Yeah.
You want to do what you want to do, but you got to do it in a balanced state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why sometimes the surrender aspect is very feminine, because it's not a matter of not being able to do things.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being able to do things in a proper balance so that way it's not harmful to self. Because when we're too out of control, we harm ourselves and we harm others, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're feeling too much into our emotions or
Mm-hmm.
into the emotions of others, and we're not taking a moment to take a breath and think, okay, what is it that I'm feeling and
Yeah,
why?
and why exactly?
Then you're gonna allow your emotions to dictate your experience. You're gonna allow the emotions to and you know what? There's gonna be times when your emotions is going to not necessarily be in the same frequency of your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to have a proper balance with
Mm-hmm.
your feminine and masculine side to listen to your intuition well to guide you
Mm-hmm.
properly.
Yes,
So
facts.
that's kind of what I felt. I kind of felt like the Shiva Shakti, where she kind of like, she went so out of it. She, like, just fucked up everything in the room and was like, you're going to see the beauty and everything. But when she came in, she's like, wait a minute. Now I'm kind of like, I'm too overboard where my consciousness is not
Mm-hmm.
even making sense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Let me bite my tongue and surrender for just a moment, because I gotta start making sense. I gotta bring a balance to this foundation.
Mm-hmm. And I
It's
and I and I,
kind of
and I
how
look
I
at
see that. That's where the light comes in, the consciousness of Shiva comes in to bring that. And he did it in such a way that it was very much, I'm not trying to tell you I'm above you,
mm-hmm.
but without each other, we can't be right.
Exactly. Exactly. And then I look at far as spirituality itself. Spirituality itself is like you being able to control your emotions or knowing how to control your emotions. And when you said about the masculine energy, that's more so that light is knowing, like you knowing what it is you have to do with these feelings that you incorporate. And once you know that, you know you. And that's what this is really all about, right? It's all about knowing that self. So that's perfect with what you said about the feelings and emotions. And it could be sporadic at times, but having that intuition and then when that light come in, where you can know what to do with those emotions, then that bring that perfect balance to yourself, right? So I think that was perfect right there.
Exactly.
You know, um,
And I love how you, like, you allow um, yourself, right, to listen to both aspects of yourself,
hmm
and what it is that you are doing by being a light and being you to help others, right?
hmm
So, in regards to everything that's going on here now, because we have a lot that's going on in 2020, and
oh man,
we do have some people here talking about empaths, and the empathic
okay,
ability is an ability that it does take both masculine and feminine energy to be very well balanced so that you can move properly, because it is
hmm
as stated, we feeling, but you got to know what you're feeling
yes,
so that
yep,
the intuition is right.
hmm
So what, as far as with 2020, what is either your intuition or your knowledge or your wisdom saying to you that you can share with us
oh man,
now?
for me, 2020 been it's been one of those. It's been a good year, but on the low though. For our spirituality, it's been the best year as far as my spirituality and learning about myself. This has been the best year so far, and it's crazy because it's like spirit. I already knew that this was going to be that year because how I brung in the year. Ironically, I brung in the year meditating in the back of my car. I was at my favorite park near uptown Charlotte, and I was meditating. This is how I brought it in the year. So I brought it in the year with the intent. This is the spiritual pursuit right here. And ever since then, it's like I've been getting a lot of spiritual downloads and revelations and things of that nature to the point where when I'm so into my spiritual bag that I kind of not forget that what's going on in the physical world, but it's like I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm more focused on what it is I'm dealing with in the spiritual side of life instead of what's going on in my physical, right? And I've learned how to and I learned how to I don't want to separate from the physical life. Oh, can you hear me?
You're breaking up. That's how high he is, right? And
I know
that's
it's saying
that's
poor
that
connection.
grounding that needs. I'm an
So let me know if
anchor.
you can hear me.
I'm an anchor. I'm here. Can you all hear him well? Or am I
Okay, there it is. Can you hear me now?
lagging? I'm not sure if it's on my part.
All right, I think it's now. If you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Okay, cool. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. Yeah, I was just discussing about 2020, but it's been so far so good for me. But it's just like how everybody else like in chaos or in a state of confusion, right? But me, it's kind of like I know everything happened for a reason. The law cause and effect. So I'm looking at it like, yo, all this is happening for some sort of reason. So that's how I just base my life on everything. That's how I wake up every day. I wake up knowing that everything is happening in divine timing. So even with all this crazy stuff going on, what it's doing for real, this is the time where everybody can really find them true selves right now. Because there's not much to do in the outside world. So go within. You know what I'm saying? Like go within if you can't go out. So this is the perfect time. I say look within yourself and find the true you. And I also see how this is raising the consciousness for everybody because it's less distractions. You know what I mean? It's less distractions. So I think this is the perfect time, or this was the perfect year for me because it opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. 2020 vision, right? So yeah.
Do you think, like, for example, I feel like it's a major year for, as you mentioned, for us to go within, to practice our discernment, to balance, to know. This is why it's important to have that masculine and feminine energies balanced within, so that that 2020 vision is accurate. Because these
Mm-hmm.
eyes really, they they see what the sun is giving out in the consciousness, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
the reflection of that the quartz and everything triggers the nadis, triggers the body to get your knowledge
Mm-hmm.
activated and turn it into wisdom, and so that you can move in accordance. And I say that because, for example, we're in the month of August, and a few months ago we had the whole Jada Pinkett and Will Smith thing, talking about August and Jada, and everyone's like, "Oh, making this whole big thing." And my
Yeah.
very first thought was, what is happening astrologically in August
Mm-hmm.
that they want us to see and know?
Mm-hmm.
That's where my mind first went.
Mm-hmm.
And then little by little, things start coming up, and I'm like, yo, it's definitely about some, like, hitting our wholeness,
Mm-hmm.
right? In all realms and dimensions, mind, body, spirit, as a whole one body in the universe, singing one song. You and I
Mm-hmm. You
having
and
a
I.
verse of one
Mm-hmm.
song is having to deal with collectively in August certain karmas
Mm-hmm.
that have to be dealt with
Mm-hmm.
and cleared out. So that way, in multiple other universes, in the multiverse, and in the other galaxies and everything,
Mm-hmm.
that's why, because we have, our galactic council and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that, so that everything is flowing in balance. And
Mm-hmm.
in August, here we had three spiritual knots, which are when certain planets leave from the elements of water to fire and fire to water. That's
Mm-hmm.
masculine, feminine energy.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's masculine, feminine energies. So while everybody's sitting there thinking on the very so physical of it, just, oh, she was going through a healing process. What they kept talking about, healing the masculine, healing the feminine, how they were both
Mm-hmm.
going through issues, and there were reflections of, what's going on. that as a collective, whether we're conscious of it or not, we're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with this
Okay, I
right
see what you're
now,
saying.
and
Yeah,
it
okay, I
started
like the
in
way
the
you put that.
beginning of August.
Okay, I like the way you put
And
that.
I'm like, another thing that had happened, there was months ago, I think this was like back in March, where they was showing like a video of Bronx Lebanon Hospital caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a prank. It wasn't real. I'm originally from New York, so I have family. I'm from the Bronx as well. So I see this video going viral. I'm like, I hit up my family in New York. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like Bronx, Lebanon on fire or whatever. They're like, nah, that's a hoax. Da, da, da. Here we go. Last month we had Lebanon fucking. What's going on over
That's
there? A
that's
fire.
that's
Wow.
energy.
So these are things that it's not even just talking about what's going on in the physical. The physical is reflective of what's going on spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen in the spirit realm
First,
first
exactly.
in order for it to happen here. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is, they are giving us these messages. These messages are in our breath. And it is for us to see. But it's
Mm-hmm.
for us to see not with these eyes.
With that out, right?
With the first eye, our true
First
eye,
eye.
our inner eye, and allow the breath, the internal breath, the inhale
Mm-hmm.
is very feminine and submissive. And the
Mm-hmm. Put the energy
exhale
in.
is masculine, and it has the messages.
Mm-hmm. You
So
know
when
what?
you
I want to
breathing
say this
right,
before you keep going. I want to say this before you keep going. Um,
no, go ahead.
I like what you just did there because personally for me, I do not really focus on stuff like that. I will see it and I'm like, I'm not putting my energy towards it. But something that you said was very, very important that everybody need to hear again. It happens in the spirit realm first, and then it trickles down here to the physical world, which is the number 3, if you will. But so that's a good way to look at things. How you can look. Basically, what you just did was you took the energy and you looked at it from a higher perspective. I think that was incredible. Like I never would have looked at it like that because, like I said, I don't like to really pay attention or put my energy to that. But the way you just did it right there, that was crazy. That was crazy right there. I see what you did. Like you really looked at it from a higher perspective, from the spiritual first, and how it trickled down here with the masculine and feminine, the entanglement, and things of that nature, and the karma. I like the way you did that. For me, I really don't like to pay attention to the stuff that they put out like that. Like even when they shoot another unarmed black person, I really don't like to put my energy towards that because I feel like when I'm doing that, I'm not putting the energy back to me. You get what I'm saying? So, but like I said, just the way you broke
Part
it
of the
down was
game.
crazy.
That's what they.
Exactly. Like that's why I don't like to put my energy even towards that because I know that I know what's harvesting and feeding that energy. I don't want to feed that when I could be feeding my spirit God, the spirit within. I'd rather, you know what I'm saying, I can feed myself with all that type of knowledge and information and gain more, right? But like I said, I did like the way you said that though. That was crazy.
I didn't always think of things that way, to be honest. And there's times when I can like kind of fight myself when it comes down to the logics because there's times when I kind of feel like dyslexic in a sense. And when I allow the ego or the chatter to be louder than God,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, my spelling or this, like, but spirit ain't caring about the spelling.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Spirit,
Facts.
or let me correct, it is a spell, it's a different spell. And so, like, when I start looking at even how I'm writing and sometimes how the like dyslexia, they look like
Mm-hmm.
symbols when you really look at, and that's a form of, for tapping into to the subconscious, to the
Subconscious mind.
consciousness, right?
Yeah.
From the feminine
Mm-hmm.
to the masculine, right? And
Mm-hmm.
just going with what you're feeling to get the message out there in accordance. But even if it's like, certain letters, it could kind of look wrong. Even if like, sometimes I'll look at like how I spell things and I laugh and I'm like, that's not the proper spelling of it, but that's the proper symbolism of that
Mm-hmm.
same word in a
Mm-hmm.
sense where it will kind of like have another letter that it still has the pronunciation of it, and it has the vibration, and it has
Mm-hmm.
like a symbol, whether it looks like a pyramid, or it looks like, the infinity symbol, or it looks like a snake. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's talking to to
The
that side of
subconscious
the
mind.
mind. And that's why, like, music is so important. And like
Mm-hmm.
chanting, sometimes we don't even know what is really being said in certain dialects, but we might like the song, and you just feel how it's like putting you in a certain vibration, and
Version.
you just kind
Mm-hmm.
of like, yo, like, or it's the first time you heard a song, and it could shift you. You can go from happy to sad if it's like a song that's putting you in a low vibe, or you
The
can go
vibration.
from like sad to happy, and the
Mm-hmm.
opposite. And music, I think, that's definitely ethers, energies. That music, it
Speaking of
has
music and speaking of music
keys.
and the speaking of music, the dance of the liberated soul, Shiva, dance of the liberated soul, baby. So
And he was
yeah,
dancing, and the
yeah.
energetic movement. He was
Mm-hmm.
dancing to the movement of the universe's song. That you and
Universe
I
is
had
one
a verse.
song.
We made one song,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
dancing to that song. And music
Mm-hmm.
has what, 7 major keys
Mm-hmm.
to create
Seven
a
major
song,
chakras.
and it has all the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Keys to the universe, keys to the song, so
Mm-hmm.
that we are dancing and flowing, doing that dance of Shiva,
Yeah. That free dance.
right?
Yeah. Dance of the
Yeah, I'm
liberated soul,
feeling
baby.
it.
You know. Oh yeah.
I want you to
Yeah,
touch
music.
on Shiva.
We touch on Shiva? Okay, all right. Well, you basically just broke down a little bit of it. The dance of the liberated soul. Um, so what's around him is the fire, the flames is represented as the ethers and the infinity. And he's right here, you'll see a dwarf that's representative of the ego. And representing the ego, him standing on it and dancing above it, being that you have to rise above your lower natures or your ego and rise above it or stand above it and dance freely or flow freely. What you were saying in the beginning, how you were flowing, right? So freely dance with the universe, the one song, accordingly to yourself, to the own beat of your drum, right? And he has his hand up to let you know to have that pause sometime. Like just stop, like, yo, relax, take it easy. It's cool. It's all right, right? Just freedom. So every time I look at this, what it does to my subconscious, what is programmed to me, is to just breathe, right? And just release the surrender, breathe, release, surrender, and just let it all go and have fun and be free, right? That's what first comes to my mind when I do look at this symbol. And I'll probably put on some music or something like that and dance a little bit. But that's me breaking it down shortly, like real quick. But of course, there's a whole lot more we can get into that symbol. But that was just it, real quick. I don't want to, go into full detail or whatever.
Nah, you said pause the music for a moment and breathe and surrender, because I was breathing. I needed to surrender. Music, pause.
But yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna breathe, and I just hear the music.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like
Sometimes that's what we got to do,
all of
though.
those what it starts with a C, those the big insects with the they're not like beetles, but they kind of look like big flies. They're part of the beetle family. That it's with a C. I don't know. That's all I hear. I hear them outside.
Hmm.
Anyway.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
and
it.
that fire, right? That fire,
Yeah.
as you were speaking, you can feel that purification, that liberation, right?
Hmm.
Just going in, and you can start feeling when that fire is rising, right? Bringing up the activating the kundalini, like,
Kundalini. Yeah.
mm-hmm, and tapping in, and the feminine and masculine doing the dance to come up, right? To
Hmm. We
bring
at the.
get into that space of liberation, and
Hmm.
that light touches certain energetic points. You
Hmm.
can feel this, what is happening in your body. Your body will tell you if it's a certain organ that maybe is needing more purification, and so it might feel painful. Like, truth be told,
Hmm.
that healing process is not a beautiful process, only we make it. It's a
Facts.
beautiful dance. It is a beautiful dance. It is a very
Mm-hmm.
liberating dance, but that shit will hurt your ego. It's gonna hurt anything that's not of divinity, that is not of love. And
Mm-hmm.
that
Oh,
is why
that's a good one.
sometimes they
That's
look
a big one right there.
scary.
If you ain't doing it from
Yes,
pure heart,
yes, that is the
if you ain't doing it from pure heart, then you want you put spirituality. If you're not doing it from pure heart, from ego, all ego, you do it from pure heart first, or else it's all ego, and then it becomes unmagical at that point, right? So,
I hear you.
oh, you hear me? Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Like if you're not doing it from pure heart,
How do you say
then you're
that?
doing it from straight ego. Okay, what you say?
Right, and that's where the whole dance within the root chakra, when Kali was out of control at that point, she was feeding the lower self in a sense. But
Mm-hmm.
Kali is very much a destroyer of like the demons and everything like that, and that
Yes.
which is not
Protect.
of divinity. But she will make you face your demons. She will make you,
Mm-hmm.
face these things. And that is like she's a mother energy in that sense, right? But then there's,
Mm-hmm.
as mentioned with the Shakti and Shiva doing the dance, and Shiva had his locks, and he looked, kind of almost like a homeless person in a sense. And Shakti, her family was like very royal, and you know, he, she fell in love with Shiva. She was like his divine light, the purity, that purification, that truth, that purpose, that without shame or humiliation, he was his
Yes.
authentic self.
Mm-hmm. Freedom, liberation.
And that's what she was in love with. Say that again.
No, I was saying freedom and liberation. I kind of want to touch on that a little bit about the authentic self and how to reach that point. What things in touch with your authentic self and always being your true self at all times? What are things that you do to, stay in that divine balance?
You're breaking up.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
It's
All right.
all your
Now I was
high
just asking.
vibes energies. I'm loving it though.
Yeah, yeah. I was just asking like how you brought up a good point about authentic self. So what are things you do to stay into alignment and stay in touch with your divine self? I think that's very, very important. I think that's what being a spiritual person is really truly all about. Truly all about you being liberated enough to be your authentic self at all times, no matter where you are. Being that free you, being that higher you. Like I said in my life, last week, get in touch with your child self and always having that imagination. Very, very important. So, what are things that you do to stay aligned and divine?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there any questions in the comments? Like I'm loving y'all comments, but I'm experiencing a little bit of a lag here.
Oh,
But nature is like speaking, and spirit is speaking, and I love how just how genuine you are when you speak. Like you can hear that,
mm-hmm.
and that again,
Appreciate it.
like that listening. That's etheric,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is listening to masculine and feminine vibrations in one person's voice, and their tone, their sound. And it's like if you listen well, you can hear when someone is bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell it, you can taste it, you can see it
Mm-hmm.
just by hearing their words, because you can hear how much masculine and feminine is in their sound, what
Mm-hmm.
vibration is going through, and then you're able to feel that in your energy and
Mm-hmm.
know, right? Any
Mm-hmm.
backstory to Kali and Shiva
Clean Shiva.
relationship? I know I ended up starting with Kali. That was an interesting one, I guess, because of
Mm-hmm.
the whole root chakra.
Mm-hmm. Here's a good book on the Shiva and the Shiva energy. It's called Shiva, the Wild God of Power and Ecstasy by Wolf Dieter Stoll. And he has all the stories in here about Shiva and Shakti and Kali and things of that nature. If you want to cop this book right here, um, that's why I got a greater understanding about it. So you can cop that book if you want.
There's
Um,
actually a mudra. I think I shared it with you last time. Did I
mm-hmm.
share it with you last time? Yeah. Did you do it?
Yeah. No, I'm be honest. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Hold on. Hold on.
Uh,
The Shiva one or the Kali one? The Kali or the Shiva? Which one?
the Shiva Shakti
The Shiva
is
Shakti.
called Kilaka.
Oh,
Is
okay. No, I didn't.
actually
I
the
didn't. I didn't
name.
do that. I
Kilaka
didn't. I did
mudra.
not do that. I didn't do that one. I didn't do that one.
And so I always tell
Well, you want to
everyone
do
if
it
you're
now?
gonna do this, you
You
rub
want to
your
do it now?
hands together to stimulate your nadis,
Mm-hmm.
right? You activate that energetic, the subtle bodies. You stay in a seated position, and when you're ready, you just slow your hands down. You're going to twist
Oh.
your wrists on the
Mm-hmm.
opposite side, so you're gonna twist them. You're going to twist your pinkies, and you're gonna have the pads of the pinkies together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're in a cross. You're going to take your index and your middle finger along with your thumbs, and you're going to have your ring fingers at a 45 degrees. And
Oh,
you
okay.
meditate with this mudra in front of your heart space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the heart has the six-pointed star. It has the masculine and feminine energies meeting. Yes, the Merkaba.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
so
wow.
this is connecting the left side of your body with your right side of your body. So this is connecting Shiva and Shakti energy
Mm-hmm.
together. And you meditate doing this for about 5 to 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you breathe. Your breath is supposed to be a natural breath with
Mm-hmm.
with that particular. There's certain mudras that you do different breath work and channel different things. With that one specifically, you breathe naturally. And again, the inhale is your feminine breath. It is your
Mm-hmm.
submissive breath. It is your breath of collecting the data to feeling it. It is
Mm-hmm.
submitting to the information that is around in the room and either neutralizing it or flowing with it in a certain currency,
Mm-hmm.
where the exhale is bringing that currency or that choice of how you're directing your breath into the consciousness and reflecting it into your reality of how you choose. And so that is why, we receive our energies, we receive it into the body. When we close our eyes, it's dark. It's dark until we submit to receive the light.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we only got about 2 minutes or a minute and a half. Do you mind spelling the name of the middle of the mudra in the comments? Yeah, it's Kilaka. I'm sorry, Kilaka, Kilaka.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Kala is like time and space and connected with Saturn, but it's also connected with Kali.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Kila and
Your
like
car.
Ki, Chi, right?
Yeah.
La, like La, sound it out and let it speak to you. And then Ka, the vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so another one is even just chanting Makaba, 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 Makaba. Chanting that, you're gonna definitely trigger that masculine, feminine energies within yourself, and you're gonna activate that heart chakra, because we call it
Mm-hmm.
Merkaba. Why we call it Merkaba? We're putting the R, but it's
Mm-hmm.
Ma Ka Ba. Ba is pattern.
Mm-hmm.
That's mother, father, vehicle, child.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Sound like a
like to
trinity
say
to me.
Makaba.
Sound like another trinity to me, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have 30 seconds, y'all. So if you
Oh.
haven't already, please follow the the people's
Peace, y'all.
healer. He is on YouTube. I want to say thank you so much for being here. I look
Yeah,
forward to doing more lives with you and actually letting you talk a lot more because I felt like I just spoke a lot.
it's cool. I appreciate you though.
Uh,
I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to, spread this light, I appreciate this. I really, really